Hey, I'm Bradley Jacobs, a senior editor at Us Weekly, and this is Us Must, a look at what's new, what's hot, and what's not in entertainment this week. First up in movies, The Taking of Pelham 123. A madman, played by John Travolta, hijacks a New York City subway and demands $10 million within the hour.
Now, what is the price for New York City hostages this morning?
And it's up to a dispatcher, a surprisingly chunky-looking Denzel Washington, to keep the peace and save the hostages. Though the movie's a remake of a gritty 1974 cult classic, this version's more of a popcorn flick, complete with egotistical suits, token casualties, and a villain who's as quick with a punchline as he is with a gun. The result, a pretty typical action movie that's woefully short on white-knuckle moments. Also in movies, imagine that. In this surprisingly solid kids flick, a workaholic financial expert played by Eddie Murphy never makes time for his daughter, played by Yara Shahidi. But when she and her imaginary pals start predicting investment news, her dad, of course, gets interested.
How did you know about this impending marriage? Where are you getting this information?
And the two bond as they play in her imaginary world of princesses and dragons. Now, don't be a hater, this is actually a pretty good kids flick. It works because Shahidi's a big screen natural, and Murphy does us a favor by laying on a lot less shtick than in his last few flicks. There's no Norbit here. It's lustful, it's tantalizing, and it's back.
You know how many people are having sex with vampires these days?
You would be surprised, people you know.
Next up in TV, the return of HBO's series True Blood. Season 2 of the vampire drama begins with mortal Suki, that's Anna Paquin, furious because her blood-sucking soulmate Bill, that's Stephen Moyer, is still keeping secrets from her. Some of the thrills are muted due to chaotic tangents, like one character who joins a Christian cult. But by the next installment, the chills and cheeky laughs start to gel. And finally, a DVD not to miss, Gran Torino. Clint Eastwood directs himself as Walt Kowalski, a racist Korean War veteran. He's kind of like Dirty Harry Sr.
Ever notice how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with?
A far cry from his overwrought filmmaking in Changeling, which also came out last fall, the $148 million earning movie is frank, funny, politically incorrect, and as tough as Eastwood himself. Although the Academy didn't make his day with an Oscar nomination, many thought it was totally deserved.
Dorothy mentioned specifically that it was her desire for you to go to confession.
And I confess that I have no desire to confess to a boy that's just out of the seminary.
I'm Bradley Jacobs, and we'll be back next week with another edition of Us Must. In the meantime, all these reviews and more can be found in the new issue of Us Weekly magazine on newsstands now.